Again, gotta count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and emphasis on the ands. That's the rhythm. So that's number one. Once you master that, you're well on your way. Second thing, it's what chords you're gonna play, and not the names of the chords, but what variation of the chord are you gonna play. So it's really important to know that in reggae music, you almost never, if ever, play an open chord. And for those that you don't know, open chords are your first position chords down here. So you've got your A minor, your G, D, A, you know, all those chords that you see, that you learn, the first 5, 6, 7 chords that you might learn are all considered open position, those first 3 frets here. Don't play those in reggae music. Don't do them. The reason is you don't want to have any chords, any strings playing out while you play. So again, A minor, G. If I did those with A minor and G in open position, it would sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... As you can hear, that doesn't really sound like reggae. And the reason is, when you play in open position, you have all these strings that will just ring out. You don't want that. So, if you don't play open position, you don't play these chords on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fret, what do you play? One easy thing to do is to play the bar chords. And you can do that. So that would be for A minor and G. You definitely can do that. I wouldn't suggest it. I would only do that if you're playing by yourself, or if you maybe are playing in a band with no bass, but generally speaking, those low tones are going to be laid down by your bass player, and bass and drums are the most important part of reggae music. You don't want to overstep them and step on their shoes and play what they're playing necessarily, although there's types of reggae variables where you do want to play what the bass is playing, but I can do that in another video for you guys. That's more advanced stuff. But generally speaking, reggae players will play a variation of those chords where you're only hitting the top 4 strings, the D, the G, the B, and the E, and not playing the low E and the low A. So my variation of an A minor is just these 4 strings and a G. And for you guys that don't know how to play those variations, just look up variations of A minor and G, and you'll figure them out. Just different fingering positions, and they're not very difficult to play. And once you get 1 or 2 of them, you can play them all up and down the neck. And you can cover almost all reggae music playing those 2 inversions of the chords. So again, you just want to play these 4 bottom notes, and that's where you want to put your fingers when you're playing the notes. Again, not the open chords, not the bar chords, just those 4 notes. And so now that you know how to play, you know what to play, and you know when to play it, you got to put the 2 together and get the feel and know how to actually play it. And this is where it gets kind of tricky. So this is, I guess, the 3rd step. Like I said before, you don't want to let your chords ring out. So even if you've got the correct variation of the chord ready to go, you still don't want to play like this. You want to play like this. Now how do you do that? How do you make that short little stab, that in and out, that pow, that bop, bop, bop? It's kind of tricky if you've never done it before, but what you want to do is, if you've ever put your fingers, you should try this now. Take your hands, put them on the strings. Don't push down, just put them on the strings, and then play the note. You'll hear it's just a click, it's just a percussive sound. You're not going to hear any tones. If you put your fingers all the way down, you'll start hearing notes. That's not what you want for this. Just put your hands on the strings and don't push down. That percussive sound is what you're looking for in parts of reggae music, because in a lot of instances, the reggae guitar is essentially going to be a percussive type of sound. So the trick is, when you're playing your chord, if you are holding your note down, so you're pressing down so that you can play the chord, if you lift your fingers not off the strings, but just up from the fretboard, while still touching the strings, you will get that same sound. So, and it'll stop the chord while it's still playing. It'll stop it from resonating, stop it from ringing out loud. So, as an example, if I push my fingers down, and I play the chord, I'm going to lift them up, but not take them off the strings, and you'll hear it stop. Here we go. I didn't do anything with my right hand. I can just stop the chord from going, just by lifting my left hand fingers up. I don't have to do this, which a lot of people might want to do. That's incorrect. You just lift your fingers up. Now if you do that, immediately after you hit the note on the ands, you'll get that quick stop, that quick jab sound. So again, you want to get in there, attack, and get out. So you attack it, and just lift your fingers up immediately. And again, don't lift them all the way off, don't do this. You obviously let go of your guitar, it'll ring out, it's not what you want. Just lift your fingers up, keeping them touching the strings. And you'll hear that you're starting to get the correct tone. Keep in mind, this is maybe a little more advanced. Like I said, I'm playing just the bottom 4 strings. And sometimes, if you want to get a full strum in, you might inadvertently hit these low 2, the E and the A strings. What I do, and it's not terribly easy, but it's kind of just second nature to me because I've done it so many times now. To avoid that is I have my thumb, as you'll see. My thumb kind of comes over the top, and it's a little awkward at first, but you get the hang of it eventually. And my thumb is not pushing down, but just touching the strings, like I was saying you should do with your whole hand. Because what that does, again, it just makes a clicking sound. It mutes the strings. So that means these ones are not playing, while these ones are. So if I go each string, you'll hear nothing, nothing, and then you start hearing the notes. So when I play the chord out loud, you don't hear these low 2 strings, even if I hit them, because my thumb is touching it. If you can do that, or if you can practice that, then that's great, because it gives you full control. You don't have to worry about making sure you just hit those 4 strings. You can hit the whole thing, and you won't hear the wrong notes. So again, I do that on the G chord as well. And it's all about making sure that you pull your fingers up, not off, but up at the appropriate time. So again, watch my left hand, and you'll see a move. That movement is just me lifting them up, but not off the strings. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Oops, knocked down the camera there for a second. Sorry about that, folks. Here you go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so now you've got the rhythm down, so the skank, the 1 and 2 and. You've got which chords to play. Again, not open chords, not bar chords, but these variations, these 4-string variations. And you've got the technique on how to mute the strings to get the appropriate sound, which is just the lifting your fingers up, but not off the strings. The last thing to learn is, what do you do with your right hand?